backfield. Can they do it again? Yes, they can!
And the catch is made by Taj Washington. Touchdown, USC.
Blocked by Embiid. Timmy, yes!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Beef Upfront podcast here on Pick Swap Media. This is your host, as always, Ryan Coyle, back with another episode in our NBA draft lead up, our prospect profile series. Today, we'll be ripping through another prospect from Duke, another five-star freshman, another top 5 recruit from his class, and another guy like Dariq Whitehead, if you already have watched that episode, that kind of struggled with some injuries early on, didn't really get as much playing time. I think also certainly didn't live up to the hype coming in for his freshman year, but a guy that I think is suited to make a pretty good impact at the next level as well. And certainly I think got better as the year went along and maybe got healthier. He did have a procedure at the end of the year before the combine, I believe, another procedure on his foot. So does he have health concerns, or is he finally on the uptick with his health? I think that remains to be seen as well. But with Dariq Whitehead, the freshman 6'7" forward out of Duke, 195 pounds, only 18 years old, a 6'9" wingspan in his freshman year at Duke, played a little north of 20.7 minutes per game, made 3 field goals per game, only on 7 attempts, so kind of limited numbers there, not really a high volume. All right numbers from the field, shooting 42% from the field. But he did shoot about 43% from 3, 1.5 threes made per game on 3.5 attempts. A pretty efficient shooter there. Not much volume, but wasn't really asked to do that much with his game this year at Duke. Didn't really get to the line that much well, and that's one of the main sticking points I think with his game that he really needs to improve. Is that's getting to the hoop, and when he does get there, drawing contact, able to finish through contact and getting to the line. He did shoot 79% from the free throw line, but only on 1 attempt per game, and didn't really contribute much elsewhere. 2.4 rebounds, 1 assist. Not the greatest numbers, averaged 8.3 points per game on the season. As I was saying, was a kind of unanimous top 5 player. In some things, even was the number 1 player in some recruiting bases out of Montverde down there in Florida. The latest guy to be like the next hyped up prospect coming out of there, and I don't really think lived up to it that much. Does have the ideal height and length, though, for an NBA wing, I think. And the health concerns are something certainly that I think need to be considered with him. Having, I believe, both knee and foot issues already. Is this something of the past, or is this something that I think he's going to be able to recover from? I don't have that information. That's really more so with the NBA teams and the medicals. But that's going to have a big impact, I think, on him going forward and what kind of player he can be. For Dariq Whitehead to be an instant impact player right away, he just needs to continue to be able to knock down open shots. If he's a guy that is able to go to a playoff level team and be like their 7th or 8th guy in the rotation and be able to step up and hit corner threes and catch and shoot threes like he did at Duke, I think he can have a really big impact right away. His strengths are a really nice catch and shoot player. If you watch his film or just his highlights, a lot of those are just coming off catch and shoot threes, but he gets it off quick. It looks pretty clean. The release is a little weird, but it's the same consistent stroke every single time going up. Shot about 43% from 3 during that freshman year, only playing 20 minutes a game, 3.5 attempts per game. So if he's on more volume, I'm interested to see if he's able to keep those numbers up. But I would like to see those numbers at a larger volume. I know it's Summer League isn't really the greatest sample size, but if he's able to go out there and get like 7 threes up per game in Summer League and is still able to shoot around 40%, I think that would be a pretty good indication of what he can be going forward. But he's always shot ready and ready to fire. That's the part I like about Whitehead the most. And I think that is a key thing in the NBA these days. If you're able to consistently shoot 42, 43% from 3, you're going to be another guy that makes over $100 million. Look at Duncan Robinson. He got a 5-year, $90 million contract. Some games he doesn't even play. And then, as we saw last night in the NBA Finals, he's able to come in and be that spark plug off the bench and be shot ready. It's not just a standstill catch and shoot thing. I think you can run Whitehead off some screens as well. Shows ability to hit jump shots off the bounce in not only the mid-range, but from deep as well. He has some range on that pull-up game. And I really like that positional size. He's listed at, you see anywhere from like 6'6" to 6'7", but he looks like a legit guy, like You're not adding an extra inch or two to him every time someone's making up his height or whatever. This is a guy that looks the part of an NBA wing. And that's one of the things that I think teams are going to buy into as well. Coming out of high school, he was such a dominant player, and he had that elite prospect pedigree, as we touched on with Dereck Lively. Teams take that stuff into account. They're not going to let, I think, 1 year of up and down play due to some injuries and first year with a new coach on a team with a bunch of freshmen as well, with a mix of veterans in there too. I don't think they're going to let that really impact their overall evaluation of him. I think if they believe in his talent back in high school, I think someone's going to believe in his talent now. It's not like he had a terrible year, and I think he really showed an NBA level skill, and that's being able to catch and shoot the ball from three at an efficient, high level clip. He is the guy, though, I think that is a guy that could be in closing lineups in these NBA type playoff games. He's your guy that is able to hold his own on the perimeter on defense. I think he can still get better there, but I think he can hold his own out there and kind of be a problem, be a pest on that end of the floor. If you're really able to get him to commit to being a 3-and-D type player, I think he can do that for you. Has the size and the frame, I think, to be a top-notch defender if he wants to. A little bit worried about his overall athleticism and his quickness, explosiveness. I don't think he could be like a shutdown guy, but I think he's a guy that you could confidently put out there on the defensive end, and a guy that's able to go out there and shoot 42% from three. I think that would be an awesome addition to a playoff level team in a closeout type lineup. Weaknesses for him and my concerns, not overly athletic and explosive. I do worry about his ability to create against those higher level athletic wings. If he's playing like a Jason Tatum on defense, I don't really know if he's able to get by him and create his own shot. But it's a thing where he was so good at such a young age and such a dominant high school player. Does he accept more of that role player role, or is he going to try and be a guy that takes over games and be a 20-point game per guy? If he's able to do that and able to overcome some of these deficiencies, good for him. But I think if he's better suited to, all right, let me really commit to being the best defender I can be and being a consistently 40% shooter from three, I can make myself a lot of money this way as well and be a really productive, like 14, 15 point per game guy and find myself on some all defense teams and have a really productive NBA career. I just don't think athletically wise, and that could have been the reason why he didn't succeed as well as a freshman at Duke because of his injuries. But I think athletic and explosively wise, he's not that high level type guy that we see some of these elite NBA players at. So I'm a little bit worried about him with that. And then in terms of finishing at the rim, he struggled doing that at the college level at Duke, and he wasn't really able to finish over taller defenders. You get that next jump up to the NBA, taller, stronger defenders, going to make it hard. So that's certainly something that he needs to work on, but being able to kind of offset that with shooting the three ball really well could be attractive enough for some teams. If he isn't hitting threes, though, right now, I don't know how much he's bringing to the table. Like I said, he can hold his own on defense, and I do think he's got that positional size and the strength. I think he is a pretty strong guy to hold his own on that end of the floor right now, but I don't know how good on defense he can really be at this moment's notice. I think on ball he can be fine, but as an off-ball defender, I think there still is some room for growth in that regard. Not being able to create for others, only 1 assist per game. He's not going to be a guy going out and being a distributor out there. So what he does, I think he does well, but I also think he is pretty limited in what he can do as an overall player. So what am I really getting here with Whitehead? It's kind of an unknown, I guess we could say. You know, you're getting a guy that can shoot, a guy that's a highly regarded prospect coming in who has battled some injuries. Am I going to take a risk on him tapping in and being that player that some people thought he could coming out of high school? Or am I content with just what I have? Or is this a guy that's not going to be happy with his role? I think he's a big mystery in this draft. He's a guy, another player I wouldn't be surprised to see someone take that risk, that gamble on him, and maybe get him at the end of the lottery. Or a guy that kind of falls to the back half of the first round. Medicals, I think, are going to be playing a big role in what he is. So my projection for him is mid to late first round. I think maybe like 13 or 14 right there in the end of the lottery to 25, 26. I don't think he's a guy that falls out of the first round of the draft. I think his high school pedigree and overall growth as a player as the season went on at Duke will be too much to kind of keep teams away from Dariq Whitehead. So my comparison for him, I'm going to go with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Might just be more of a bias or recency bias type thing with him playing in the NBA Finals And he does need to improve on defense to be a KCP type player. But if he can go out there and be a consistent 40% shooter from three with that 6'6", 6'7" wing and kind of show some more parts of his game and just be a really solid fourth or fifth option for a team, you can make yourself a lot of money in the league doing that. KCP is another guy, I believe, over $100 million in NBA earnings. So I think he has the size and the build to make up being a very good defensive wing at the next level and shooting the ball really well. And that's really what I think he's going to be. And that just reminds me of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So that is my prospect preview on Dariq Whitehead. We've also done Dereck Lively, so make sure to go check those out. We will have a bunch more coming as the NBA draft's coming up, and we're in about 3 weeks away now, so make sure to stay tuned here to Beef Up Front on the PickSwap Media YouTube channel as the month goes on, and we'll be ripping out a bunch of prospect previews on some of these top guys. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll talk soon.